Welcome to another NDF Interview 2013. With me I've got Clark Tracey, who's literally just come off the main stage with a fantastic trio. It's been absolutely a pleasure to have you here, and welcome. Thank you.
Cheers.
Just a few questions for you. Is this your first time at the NDF?
It is, yeah. I was embarrassed to say, totally unaware of it until Gary mentioned it last year and suggested I did it. Yeah.
Great. So what's the best thing, do you think, about the NDF?
Wow. If you're into vintage drums, it's the place to go. I mean, I love vintage drums and I use vintage drums, but they all have a price on them these days, don't they? So, yeah, and they're increasing each year. So, not for me anymore. But to look at, absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
And this, of course, you know, I always think drummers are more of a fraternity than other instruments, for example. It's strange. So, you know, everyone just introduces themselves and starts talking. It's a bit of a self-help group, I suppose, isn't it?
I suppose that's one way of putting it. So you mentioned you play on some. So what kind of vintage or custom gear have you got at the moment?
Well, the kit I use most often is a 70s Gretsch octagonal badge with a Slingland Radio King snare and vintage K Zildjians. And I've also got a round badge Gretsch vintage kit there with a Max Rich broadcaster. So with calf heads on it.
Oh,
so
right.
you know, I try and recreate as much as possible that early sound.
Lovely, lovely. Best thing you've seen here today?
The best
thing
I've seen? The Gretsch round badge Birdland drum kit for £7,600. if they took a zero off it, I'd think about it.
I think we all would.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a bit of a talking point, that one.
What do you think the NDF brings to its audience?
I'm not really sure of who the people in the audience are, actually, so I don't know if I can answer that too accurately. I mean, I haven't. The people I've spoken to are either, so far today, they're sort of more or less students of mine and have been for a few years, so they're, you know, all musicians that I've met before up here. But, yeah, I don't know about that too much.
Okay, that's fine, not a problem. Not a problem. So, because it's your first year, was the NDF everything you expected it to be? Because obviously you did say that you wasn't aware of it.
No.
You was aware of it and then came. Was it what you expected?
There's more variety than of drums and percussion in general than I thought there might be. It's great, yeah. It's the sort of place I was saying to somebody, if it's been 30 years ago and I had a bit more money on me, I'd be here the whole time, you know, spending.
Yeah. Right, so who was your inspiration?
Initially it was my father's drummer, Brian Spring, and since then he opened my ears to people like Roy Haynes and Max Roach. And then all the gods after that, Elvin Jones, Philly Joe Jones, Tony Williams, all the big boys, really.
Oh, they all are to what everyone's favourite.
But I mean, I've taken influence from each of them. That's really the best you can do, study them in depth. Yeah. And walk away with something from all of them, you know.
Lovely. If you had to relive one gig or event that you've done, what would it be?
Probably my first ever gig, with different chops and different ears. I was 17, it was at the 100 Club, and it was absolutely packed, how many you can get in there, it's a lot. And it was with my dad's octet, and it was my first night professionally and replacing Brian Spring, my dad's previous drummer. It was a gig from hell for me, but I'd love to have another go at that one. As for wonderful gigs, I don't know. I've done lots of gigs that were great fun, and I've been very lucky in that department actually. No one gig, but gigs I'd like to replace and do better. Yeah, it's my first one.
First one.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you've got any advice, because I know you do some teaching, especially Birmingham Conservatoire, connection with this year. Have you got any advice for people who are starting out or who want to improve their playing?
Take yourself seriously. I think it's probably the bottom line. You know, if you want to be a drummer, you have to take yourself seriously and work at it as hard as you can, the same as any other job. You know, work doesn't come to you. Even when you're working, practicing, and working out as hard as you can on your own, still, you know, work is still not going to come to you. It takes an awful lot of things and effort. So you have to keep going at it, believe in yourself,
Yeah.
and then other people believe in you. That's it really.
Brilliant.
You know, obviously work out, practice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Practice, listen to people, transcribe them, absorb them, ultimately become your own drummer.
Yeah, great advice. So, any clean, funny stories you wish to tell us?
Clean.
The audience back home?
Well, cleanish. Elvin Jones, John Coltrane's drummer, right? I was at a masterclass of his, and everybody was asking him about concentration. How do you know, what is there a trick to this art of concentrating, you know, for an hour's tune, one tune lasting an hour? How do you keep that thing up? And Elvin's answer was that he once played a month in a strip club, and if you can concentrate on the music during a month at a strip club, that's one way of getting your head around.
Well, yeah.
I don't think that's readily available to most of us.
No, not these days. I think you have to jump through a few circles to get through that kind of thing.
Yep.
If you had a time machine, which era of drumming or music would you actually go back to?
1959, 60.
Any reason?
Just before I was born. My favourite albums appear to have all been made around about a 5-year period.
Right.
And a lot of my favourite drummers were kind of peaking at that era too. It was just a magical moment. It's just after hard bop had been proposed as a new style of jazz, I suppose, with Art Blakey's Messengers. You know, this is just at the time that Miles Davis had a tremendous quintet with Coltrane and Philly Joe. Yeah, I mean, a vast number of my collection of recordings come from that period.
Brilliant. Yeah.
I'd like to have been there.
Yeah, I'd like to be there as well. One final question. You can invite 4 guests, dead or alive, to a dinner party. They can be whoever you want. Who would they be?
God, what a deep question. Dead or alive? Okay, yeah, Elvin.
Yeah.
Nice to hang with him. Nice to hang with Blakey again. I was friends with Blakey and he was a good hang. Philly Joe I never met or saw live. That would be immense. And I suppose I'm going to be a little maudlin about it. I'd love to have my mum at the table as well.
Nice.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Keep them in order.
She was like that, was she?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Well, Clark, it's been an absolute privilege to have you here. Great playing on stage, and hopefully it'll be a good few years you'll be coming again.
Well, let's hope so.
So
now I know about it.
Yeah, brilliant. So thanks again for watching. We'll see you again soon.